before we begin actually talking about the energy field, let me just talk about feeling, working with energy, feeling energy. In my experience, this is something that's innate to humans. It's part of our consciousness. I don't know if it's part of our physiology, our physical nervous system, or if it's just part of some other aspect of our multidimensional consciousness, but everybody is able to do it, in my experience. Of course, it's trained out of us in childhood. If most children are having experiences that don't fit into our society. And, if you're a little child and you tell, oh, mommy, I saw this or that, she'll say, oh, honey, that's not real. That's if you have nice parents. It can get worse than that. So yeah, it's trained out of us. And then, when you're going through life, school and jobs, all the emphasis is on your rational mind, your logical mind. There's so much uh, deprecation, so of the intuitive side, the left side, it is for most people. And so yeah, so it can take a few. Usually, it only takes a few days actually to 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 re to get those feelings going again, because they really are innate. But we've had a lot of conditioning to suppress them, to deny them, and just to think that they're not real, or they don't exist, or to ignore them. Sometimes you'll be feeling something in a certain situation. People will call it their gut feeling. Something feels wrong, something but your mind can't tell that there's anything wrong. Logically, there's nothing wrong. And a lot of times people will regret not trusting that gut intuition. Now, that's what I would say. That's part of those feelings. Those feelings are closely tied to the emotions and the gut brain. There literally is a whole network of neurons that lines your intestine that really does form a bona fide brain. Not as big as this one up here, but it's certainly active. And so, so let me start with just a basic exercise. I'm going to give some exercises in these next 3 classes. And that's also why I'm doing it 1 week at a time, so that you have time to practice in between and we can build on what you've learned from one class to the next. So a basic practice I'm really suggesting for everyone, even if you have these abilities, even if you've advanced in your abilities to sense and feel energy, I really recommend taking some dedicated time in nature. Some people will be able to get out into the woods. I live in Mount Shasta, so I do that all the time, and it's an important part of my spiritual practice, and it's an important part of my healing work. When I started healing, I felt like I was going to nature and receiving this healing from the trees, and then I was bringing that into to the people in the city, and sharing it with them. And then I go back, it was like a transfer. In some ways, it's still like that. Just walking amongst the trees. Trees are great healers. Just passing through their energy field, their auric field, it cleanses, it heals, it does a lot of things, even without trying. So some people won't be able to do that, but you can at least get to a city park, or just a place where there's grass and trees, maybe your yard. Just take a little time each day to spend some time in nature. The basic technique, when I get to that, involves connecting to the sun and the earth. Most people who are in this class are familiar with that. And if you're outside, it's very easy. It's much easier to connect to the earth. If the sun is out, it's much easier to connect to the sun. So taking a little time in nature. And then when you're there in nature, this is what I want you to do. This is the exercise, okay? If you can, if it's warm enough, if you feel comfortable, just put your bare feet on the earth. Take your shoes off. If it's too cold for that, that's okay. You can skip that part. But if you can, it's even better if you really make skin contact with the earth. That's even been documented, that earthing has become popular because of that, because it really creates an electromagnetic connection with the earth that is measurable. So if you can do that, that's great. If you can't, that's okay. And then go up to some tree, either in your yard or out in nature or in the park, and put at least one hand up against the bark of that tree. Again, I want you to make skin contact. If you're comfortable, you can put both hands against the tree. And if you like, this is optional. You could even touch your forehead to that tree. That often will make the experience of communion more profound. I just want you to slow down, feel your breathing, kind of drop into your heart, um, uh, and slow down, just slow down your breathing. Take some long, neat, deep breaths while you're feeling the tree, while you're putting your hands on the tree, even with your third eye touched to the tree. You're putting your attention in your heart as much as you can. If you want to prepare, sometimes people will need to prepare for that because their life is so busy. It's really creating a lot of thoughts in their mind. If that's the case, before you put your hands on the tree, put your hands on your heart, just like this, and just intentionally drop down out of your mind into your heart. Your heart is not thinking about anything. Your heart is only feeling, and just feel the heartbeat if you can, but just feel the heart chakra, feel that presence of the heart. The heart is also a brain center, and in my opinion, it's the one most connected to the universal energy field or the divine source. It's the unified field, you might say. The heart really has that sense of resonance and balance. It's also in the center of your chakra system. So it's right in between the brain in your head and the brain in your gut. So it also mediates. So just drop in there, take a few deep breaths so you're slowing down. Then put your hands on the tree. If you want to, put your third eye on the tree and slow down as much as you can. Nature goes at a much different pace than our world. The human society that's been created is actually an imposition on nature. It only feeds on nature. It doesn't see nature as a living thing. It just takes from nature without asking. Okay, it's not. You could say humans are part of nature, but this society that has been created through humans really does not feel like part of nature. It feels like an imposition. And so, but we're all used to existing in it, and it operates at a certain pace, a pretty fast pace. So to drop into nature, you have to slow down out of that pace. Nature is going at a much, much slower pace. In order to feel the life force, the energy that flows through nature, and trees are a great way to connect with that. You could do that through any living being. Many people will do it through their pets or other things, but trees are very pure. They're literally rooted into the earth and their branches reach up to the sun. So trees, by their nature, trees are my first teachers. So you can feel that in my teachings. I learned a lot from them, and I still practice what they taught me. In my practice, I root into the earth and I reach up for the sun, just like trees do. If you really take the time to slow down, holding your hands on the trees with your third eye, if you wish, that can sometimes deepen the process to put your third eye right up to the tree. Just really feel as much as you can what that tree is feeling. You have to slow down to do that. Take your time. If it doesn't work for you at first, keep trying, because it's really about slowing down. The feelings are there. You just have to slow down enough to tune in. It's almost like you're tuning into a different station, okay, than the one you're used to, something that's going really slow, that's really, really slow. When you feel that, some really beautiful things can happen. If you really start tuning into that tree, you can almost feel as if you become one with the tree, or you've come into some deep communion with the tree. You can almost feel as if your roots are going down into the earth, reaching for that life force, not just the nutrients and the water, but literally the life force that's coming up from the earth. You can feel the tree doing that, and it almost feels like you're doing that too. And then when you go up the tree into the branches, especially if the sun is out, the way that trees receive the sun is just so glorious. It is so beautiful. It's they are true sun worshipers. And if you can tune into that feeling, it's one of the best feelings I ever experienced, is really tuning into a tree and feeling the way the tree receives the sun. It is a reverent experience of divine grace. The sun is the life giver to the trees, obviously. And so it's just so beautiful to receive that solar energy. You can almost feel it bringing life into your leaves and branches and the whole experience. So this is a great, great exercise. This is what began my awakening. And I still rely on the trees for my healing and for my renewal. So I'm recommending just whatever amount of time you can, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or if you have longer, to really go out in nature, an hour or 2 hours. See if you can do this exercise at least once a day, just to commune with the trees. This is really going to help you open up those feeling aspects of yourself, and also help you to reconnect with nature, because our society is disconnected from nature, only seeing the earth as a resource and not as a living being. Then that also disconnects us from nature. And I find, especially my clients who live in the city, are often have a difficult time with their root chakra connection with the earth. It often feels cut off just because of the nature of the city. So this is my first exercise. Okay, practice this. Find some tree near you. Even if you're in the middle of a city, you can find some tree to do that with.